Hello and welcome to Writing America, Pages and People. If you're here to learn about an American author and some of their works, then you're in the right place. My name is Rachel Rigolino and I'm an instructor in the English department at the State University of New York at New Paltz. So come on, we'll watch this video and leave some comments below.
Born in Quincy, Massachusetts in 1912, Cheever left home for New York City after being expelled from prep school for smoking. He wrote while trying to support himself at a number of menial jobs, and the stories of this period are often about middle-class New Yorkers in financially precarious situations. Like John Updike and J.D. Salinger, Cheever became forever associated with the waspy upper-middle-class magazine The New Yorker, and his stories appeared on its pages many times over the decades. By 1950, Cheever had left New York for the suburbs, which would become the setting of his most famous stories. The Housebreaker of Shady Hill and Other Stories was published in 1958, and Shady Hill became the locale of many of his stories. Much of Cheever's fiction explores the lives of middle-class Americans. His protagonist is typically a white, middle-aged man who commutes each morning to a banal job in Manhattan and returns each evening to a vaguely unsatisfying marital and social life in the suburbs. Critics have noted that his stories raise the rather mundane angst of life in places such as Westchester County to an artistic, philosophical level. Novelist Saul Bellow observed that Cheever could, quote, take the elements given and work them into something new and far deeper than they were at the outset. Cheever has been compared to Chekhov in his ability to reveal the complexity of what many of us would just call the average person's life. His characters' interior and external conflicts provide a window on the American social and cultural landscapes of the 1950s and 60s. Although Cheever's stories are mostly realistic, many critics have pointed out that there's often an element of the fantastic or a whiff of legends even in his suburban tales, which raise them above the ordinary. The most obvious example of the fantastical can be found in The Enormous Radio. It's about a radio that plays the conversations and other sounds of people living in the protagonist's apartment building. Perhaps Cheever's most famous story is The Swimmer, which was published in The New Yorker in 1964 and was made into a 1968 movie starring Burt Lancaster. In this tale, the protagonist, Ned, has lost his home and wife, but he blocks this reality out and embarks upon a journey, vowing to swim through every pool in the county. As he climbs in and out of his neighbors' pools and the pools of strangers, some of his former friends react kindly, while others treat him with disdain or merely pity. He arrives at the front door of his former house to find it locked and abandoned. As the story progresses, Ned's swim takes on a mythical glow, and critics have compared Ned to a modern-day Rip Van Winkle or Odysseus. The narrator says of Ned, quote, he was not a practical joke, nor was he a fool, but he was determinedly original and had a vague and modest idea of himself as a legendary figure. Cheever's brand of short story did drop out of literary favor around the time The Swimmer was released in the late 1960s. After successfully battling alcoholism in the mid-70s, he resurrected his career with the publication of The Stories of John Cheever in 1978, a collection that garnered him praise from literary critics. Cheever died in Osney, New York in 1982. The obituary writer for the New York Times wrote of Cheever, quote, his voice was the voice of a New England gentleman, generous, graceful, at times amused, and always preoccupied with the fundamental decencies of life.